Hey there, and welcome to the Confident Woman Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Brooks. Join me as I sit down and chat with co-hosts, friends, and carefully curated guests and talk about all the things that empower you to become your best and most confident self. So, let's get started. Hey there, and welcome back. Today is a big one. Today is our 300th episode. And I can't believe that we have reached this milestone together, and I'm so incredibly proud of the work and everything that has gone into making this podcast possible. So what started as a simple dream and a journal entry in a long time ago, what feels like has grown into something that I could never have imagined. So 6 years ago, I was sitting alone, feeling lost and totally just unsure. And as I sat down to write in my journal, I wished for something that didn't exist, and that was something I so needed. And that is a safe space for women to feel seen, heard, and empowered. I wanted a place where stories and voices mattered, where women could connect, grow, and step into their power. So fast forward to today, this podcast has become that space for countless women around the world. And it serves as a reminder of what's possible when we follow the call on our hearts, even when we don't have all the answers. But today isn't just about celebrating the past. It's about you, our listeners, and the women in our community, and the impact you've made by being a part of this journey. When I wrote down those journal notes, I didn't have a grand plan. I just knew that I needed a space where women could show up just as they are, real, raw, and imperfect. And that is exactly how the Confident Woman came about. So that was at a point in my life when I had just finished writing my book, Chasing Perfection, and had overcome so many obstacles and challenges. And I was craving a space where I can talk about all the things that I had learned and gone through and the growth and the transformation. And I had this vision for the Confident Woman and what it could be, but I didn't have all the answers and I didn't have any of the steps, but I just had this burning desire to create something out of nothing. And as an entrepreneur, one of my mantras has always been, if it doesn't exist, create it. And so here we are, the Confident Woman podcast. And this has been built on that belief that every woman has a story worth sharing and a purpose worth pursuing. So over the past 300 episodes, we've explored what it means to overcome fear, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs. We've talked about embracing our unique paths, our stories, and what it means to redefine success and start living on our terms a life that we absolutely love. We've also learned how to balance purpose, faith, impact, all without losing ourselves and our identities. So this podcast isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. It's something for everyone. And every episode, every conversation is designed to empower you to take action, to find your voice, to find your confidence, and create a life that aligns with who you are and what matters most to you. So I want to talk real quick about what this milestone means for you. And reaching 300 episodes, this isn't just about the numbers. It's about the impact. And if you're tuning in, I just want to thank you. I am so grateful for you being here because without our listeners, there is no episodes, there is no podcast, right? So you guys help shape this and even help give us the ideas and the content and hearing from so many of you in our community. So I want to thank you for that. But if you are just tuning in, I hope that you have found inspiration, the stories and the insights that resonate with you and where you're at and where you want to go. I hope that you've also found community, a sense of belonging, knowing that you're not alone in this journey. And also tools, tips, and strategies from so many of our guests to the episodes to so much of what we've poured our hearts into. But acknowledging those takeaways and taking that action is really what's going to help you grow, heal, and step into your power and your purpose as that confident woman. So this podcast really is here to remind you that you're capable, you are worthy, and you are more than enough. It's about creating that space where you can learn, grow, and thrive and take those next steps. So, whatever that looks like for you. Although your journey might be personal, it is a collective effort because we are not alone on this journey. And so that is the main through line of something that I really wanted to share and hammer down into what we talk about here on this podcast. Because again, for us to go through growth and transformation, this is tedious, it's time consuming, it's painstakingly long. But this is what this podcast serves is ways to help empower you to feel like you're in the right place, to give you that encouragement, to give you that hope and inspiration, to keep going one step at a time, one day at a time. And this progress, we focus on the progress, not perfection. And that progress is found when we are consistent. So consistency compounded over time yields results. So if you are looking to better your life and better your relationships, this is why you are here. So I just really want to thank you because you are the heart of this podcast. Every download, every message, every story you've shared with me and our community has helped make this possible. So when you tune in, you're not just listening, you're actually a part of something bigger. And this is the mission, and this is the message, and this is the movement. You are part of a community that believes in showing up authentically, about chasing dreams boldly, and supporting one another fiercely. Your presence here means everything to me. It's proof that what started as a dream in an Airbnb a long time ago in a far, far away place called LA, outside of my home here in Columbus, Ohio, when I was out there for a speaking opportunity and I just felt so alone. And that's why I started journaling. But it really is about pursuing the life that you are called for because you are worth that. And so I hope that this serves as a reminder that when women come together, we become unstoppable. We are the confident woman. And as we celebrate today, this milestone, I want you to take away a few important truths to this message is that your voice matters. Just like this podcast started with a vision and a voice, your story has the power to inspire and impact others. Your story has the power to create so much ripple and action and pursue those dreams. But it's your story and your voice. So growth is a journey, not a destination. With over 300 episodes, we've explored the ups and downs and everything in between. And it's a reminder to embrace the process and celebrate how far you've come. Community changes everything, whether it is this podcast or the people you surround yourself with. Having a support system makes all the difference. And most importantly, know this. You are capable of more than you think. Your dreams, no matter how big or small, are worth pursuing. So where do we go from here? Well, this milestone isn't the finish line. Just like our destination doesn't arrive, it's finding joy in the journey. And this is the beginning of the next chapter. As we look ahead, I'm committed to bringing you more powerful conversations with guests who inspire and challenge us to grow, learn, and thrive. You'll also find deeper solo episodes that tackle the real, raw, and messy parts of life. So this is something I am committing myself to, is sharing more of those messy parts and a lot more of those stories behind it, because I think when we could peel back the layers and the curtain, we can actually see what is happening and give some privy into other people's lives. And I think that that is so important, especially when we talk about the power of vulnerability. But also, we are going to be implementing more practical strategies to help you live confidently and create a life you love. So let us not forget, this is your space too. I'd love to hear from you. What topics do you want to explore? What questions are you wrestling with? What episodes resonate with you most? Like, this is a time for, I'm asking you guys to connect with me and pour out your heart. Tell me what's going on. Tell me how this podcast has inspired you. Tell me some of your favorite episodes, some of your favorite guests. Just tell me some of that, the ripple effect, right? The impact that this podcast aims to make in this world. And obviously, your feedback helps shape us and to where we're going and to our next steps and what's ahead. So without you, again, there is no we, right? So before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for showing up, for listening, for sharing, and being a part of this incredible journey. Thank you for trusting me to walk alongside you and for believing in the mission of the Confident Woman. This podcast wouldn't exist without you. I cannot reiterate that enough. Your stories, your feedback, and your presence inspire me every single day. So together, we've built something that's not just impactful, it's meaningful and it's lasting. So here's to 300 episodes and to many, many more to come. So cheers to that. And it is worth celebrating as we have been in a season that is all about celebration. And the funny thing is that we have just hosted our first annual Connections and Celebrations event where we did just that. We came together, we inspired each other, we encouraged each other, we've empowered each other. But more importantly, we've celebrated the successes of what it means to come together as a collective community, to celebrate individually what each and every one of us has accomplished and achieved. And in not talking about some big monumental things that, we think of the awards and the ceremonies and all those things, but it's the celebration of everyday living. When you can become a better version day in and day out, those little stepping stones, those micro moments add up to the macro moments. And when we look back, we see how much we've changed. And change is worthy of celebrating. So let us continue to learn, grow, and thrive, and to empower one another. So let's keep redefining what it means to live confidently and lead boldly and to love unapologetically. So thank you again. This has been incredible, and I'm so grateful to walk this journey with you. So until next time, take care.
Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of the Confident Woman podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode as much as I did, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Thanks again for listening.